Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. This article comes to you guys from Light Reading. I'll leave a link to it in the description so you guys could check it out. So I want to be clear right off the bat. If I was T-Mobile, I would not be playing with fire. So what's happening in this article and what T-Mobile recently did, T-Mobile recently submitted an official objection to the EchoStar AT&T deal to the FCC. They're outright telling the FCC to block this deal. And if you don't block it, then you need to put tougher build out targets for AT&T. And this is in regards to the 600 megahertz. We all know T-Mobile really has no care for the 3.45. They already sold that when they had it. They bought it and they ended up selling it. So they have no care for it. But they have great care for the 600. And they're saying for competitive reasons, there could be a version of AT&T not deploying the spectrum and it just sitting and not being utilized when T-Mobile, of course, could utilize it quickly because they have that deployed across the network. So AT&T, in return, they're doubling down on the report of the T-Mobile objection. So AT&T defends EchoStar spectrum rollout plan, but T-Mobile calls for stronger coverage obligations or rejection of the $23 billion deal, according to the recent FCC filing. So I want to be clear. The reason I started off the videos by saying T-Mobile shouldn't be playing with fire is because T-Mobile has spectrum that they haven't deployed. And we all know they're sitting on C-band. And I think if the FCC doesn't even have to do a thorough investigation, they just have to look and they will find that T-Mobile is sitting on C-band that they haven't deployed to anything meaningful. And that is hindering competition too. That could be spectrum deployed that creates more of the fallow capacity, which is the model T-Mobile currently uses to sell its FWA. That spectrum creates even more fallow capacity to give additional optionality to more users that were more consumers that may want to use 5G home internet. But it's spectrum that T-Mobile is sitting on. So like I said, T-Mobile better be very careful. They better be very careful in its objection plans. They better be very careful. AT&T is saying, and again, we talked about that in a video not too long ago. A lot of you guys were upset, but they're doubling down on it, that they're going to cover 40% of the population within 3 years and 75% of the population within 5 years of the deal closing, of the EchoStar Spectrum deal closing. You guys see it here, 600 build out of service to 40% of the population covered by 3 years, and then 75% of population by 5 years. Right? That would be the close date of December 31st, 2030. This spectrum band is not supported by AT&T's network and will require investment in new radio equipment to get it up and running. And even it says here, in contrast, T-Mobile is calling for AT&T to be required to reach 40% coverage in 3 years and 75% coverage in 5 years. So same thing, right? The T-Mobile is calling for the same thing. So if the FCC signs off on that, and it's something that is binding by AT&T because that's what they submitted to the FCC. I think that's too slow of a target anyway. For 3 years, 40%, and it's a low band channel. That's just not fast enough. It's a low band channel. Keep that in mind. So it has more reach. It's a broader area covered. So it's not as hard to cover as many pops with low band. So it shouldn't take 3 years to reach 40%, unless it's just not that high of a priority. And I don't think it is for AT&T. So if you're going to take 3 years to cover 40%, that means you're only spending a certain amount. So you're prioritizing areas, and you probably internally have a list where you say, okay, we're going to spend this amount of billions, but we're going to divide that into 3 years. And that's what we're comfortable spending over that 3 year period. It's not enough. It's just not enough. For T-Mobile, 602.5 became its core for the 5G capacity, reach, calling. So they invested all of the 10 billion, and in some of the other years even higher, and it all went into the network. AT&T would only be spending a small portion in areas where they want to deploy and what they're prioritizing. So T-Mobile better be very careful. They better be very careful and not to play with fire. The FCC is all over the place, and they could very well question T-Mobile on C-band. And when you're rebutted in that way, there is no further objection. What else can T-Mobile say? They would either have to release a plan to the FCC that has a comprehensive build out of the C-band, or this better be the last objection that we hear from T-Mobile, because again, you're playing with fire, T-Mobile. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Let me know your thoughts on this back and forth. Do you guys think it's warranted that T-Mobile has an objection with everything that T-Mobile has gotten approved over the years, and them still not deploying any of the C-band in a meaningful way? Should they leave it alone? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Live. See y'all in the next one.